Welcome to episode 5 of Just a Game with BBC and Brick Poker. Today, we have a very special guest, Adam Makola. If you're not familiar with him, he's a YouTuber in the football space. He does a lot of coverage of Manchester United, all things Manchester United. He is a co-owner of Full Time Devils, which is formerly known as the Stretford Paddock, and he has now founded his new venture, The Club, with two of his mates, Rory and Boovy. And, he makes amazing content on the football side of things. And if you didn't know, he's been getting into poker. So back in COVID, he started playing poker, creating content with other content creators. And recently has been taking the game more seriously, studying with BBC himself. And I think you'll all enjoy this episode. It was a little bit different as to the previous episodes where we're kind of speaking with more higher level players. But in this one, we go into a little bit more about the fun side of poker and, talk a little bit more about what Adam does with his own business. So hope you enjoy the episode, and we'll jump right into our conversation with Adam. All right, let's welcome in our special guest, Adam Makola. He's the co-owner of Full Time Devils, formerly known as Stretford Paddock. And I know you also have started The Club with some of your mates, which I think is like really cool. Basically, you're just sweating games a lot, football matches, and then the primary focus obviously is United. If you're a United fan, you should know who Adam Makola is, in my opinion.
We basically, the club's going mental at the moment, especially with the Euros and England doing really well. The boys have been sweating England hard, so that's been good to watch. I've been doing this for about 11 years now. It feels like I've been doing it for 20, but it's been so much fun along the way. It's good to still be doing stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and now you're. It's probably 4 or 5 years. Would you say you kind of integrated yourself into poker? I know you've done the showdown with True Geordie. You guys are having like home games at his recording studio, and it looked super fun. You've been working with Poker Stars as well, so I did want to ask you though, kind of where the inspiration from poker came. Like, how did you get into it initially?
It genuinely, like, because we did those shows during COVID was when I started. Because we did those shows, we obviously were in a position where we kind of needed to know the basics of poker, because we were playing poker online initially. Between ourselves, all of us had a similar experience level, and we were playing for like quite a bit of money at times. Like, I think it was like $2,000 for just a free roll with the lads, like, you know what I mean? And there was 6 of us that none of us were really pretty good. So then I just decided to like take it a little bit more seriously, because I did enjoy it, what I was doing, and I also thought it's a good opportunity to try and get a bit more cash. And then I just got the bug. I was playing it, watching loads of videos, watching loads of content, and then obviously developed a relationship with PokeStars, where I was going on a lot of the live stops, which has eventually developed into me being a PokeStars ambassador. I just love the live game, love online as well, which I'm having to do a little bit more of, especially doing the lessons with Jordan and stuff. I'm having to get all those hand histories in. So I'm playing a little bit more online now as well, and I really do love it. It's not now just something that I'm doing because I have to do a show and I could win a bit of extra money. I'm playing it now because I really enjoy it. It also helps that Man United have been crap, so poker's been giving me some stuff.
Well, it's good that you enjoy it. So you've been at the previous your primary business for 11 years. You mentioned that, right? So, and you mentioned that you still love it. Has anything tapered off at all? You still feel the same passion, same intensity? Or, because I'm always curious about, like, because I've been doing this for a long time with poker, right? I started in 2009, so I don't want to date myself, but it's been like 15 years. So, like, how do you feel about things? Like, how much energy it takes? Like, are you still able to keep up the same enthusiasm? Because most people drop out of stuff, right? Like, they jump careers.
I still really enjoy it. Like, I have to do, I mean, it's not a real job, so I'm not like looking for pity or anything, but that the amount of time I spend on the motorway just going backwards and forwards from our studio in Manchester, our studio in London, like, I put in those miles because I really do enjoy what I'm doing. Like, and it is fun to do. I am though very results orientated, so it's like when Manchester United are doing badly, I very rarely want to talk about it, which doing my job is a bad thing because United have been poor over the last 10 years, and
Sure.
having to talk about it, almost as a job. Sometimes I just want to be a kid again and shut the curtains and go to sleep.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a bit annoying when Manchester United are losing, but generally I still love it. And plus, it's something that I would have always done. I'm very fortunate to do a job where I'd, in some sense, be doing this for free. And like I'd be doing it every day, or going to the pub with my mates, or just chilling with my mates. I'd be talking about football anyway. So sticking a camera in front of us and doing it as a job, it's a pleasure, really.
Yeah. Do you remember like the first United game that you watched? Like what, was it as a really young kid or how far back it went?
Yeah, so my dad started taking me when I was like 5, 6 years old. Like my early memories, I can't remember. Like the first game I went to was against Sheffield Wednesday in like 96 or something like that. And so I was like 7 years old. And that was the first game I ever went to. And then it just started from there where we'd occasionally I wouldn't go to every game with my dad, but I'd go to like a chunk of games every season. Okay. And then when I could afford to go myself, I started going myself, getting my own season tickets and stuff like that. So it's always been something that I've done, even though I'm not from Manchester.
Sure.
I have to put in like an 80-mile journey to the games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've always done. And it's something that my mum and dad split up when I was quite young. So obviously I still would have seen my dad regardless, but having that kind of passion that we both had to go and watch the games and go and watch football, I think it was like a blessing.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So your dad was definitely passionate about the game too, right? So that helped. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's really cool. So then the memories that are tied to that are just like you go into games with dad. Like that's pretty cool.
And we were good. We lifted trophies. It was amazing. Like some of the best memories ever. Like I remember, like this may not. If you don't watch football, you won't know. But I remember, like my dad saying when Sir Alex Ferguson, who was the GOAT, basically, he won all the trophies. That we haven't won the league since he left, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I remember, and he was there for 30 odd years. He came in 1986. He left in 2013. He won just 30 odd titles. Like he was incredible, right? And the day when he left, my dad said, "Now you're gonna know what it feels like to be a real football fan." And I was like, "Nah, we're gonna keep winning. Surely it's just gonna keep coming, right?" And it didn't. So like, I did learn to see football from a different angle after that.
Sounds like a painful angle. Been suffering a little bit.
I know. I can relate to you, man. I mean, I do envy your career a little bit because I was just a massive sports fan, right? And yeah, I'm from Toronto, and all of our teams suck except for. I mean, we won a championship in basketball in 2019, but aside from that, it's always super pessimistic towards our own home teams every time. So I could totally relate to that. I think it's cool at the to transition back to poker a little bit that you have gotten this urge to take the game a little bit more seriously now, which is is it just because you started to really more enjoy the game and you wanted to be better at it? Because I know you've been working a lot with Jordan recently, so was there?
Yeah, there's nothing I love better than just like those long days at the poker table.
Yeah,
and like. Just even just the feeling of there's a beautiful feeling of the next hand could be the hand. You know what I mean? You could be having the worst run of your life, but the next hand could be the hand, or you could be smooth sailing, chip leader, and you could just lose a hand like when a 2-outer on the river or something, and just it could be pure devastation. Sure. Like it's just an unreal. I think it's like obviously it's not officially, but I think it's almost like a sport in itself, like the emotions that you go through, and now how in-depth people are with their training, and the kind of things that they're doing in their minds when the play's going on. Like I think it's very close to being a sport. Like it's obviously not many sports you can sit there for 13 hours and have like a Guinness every hour, which I've done in like Ireland at times, but you know what I mean? Like it's just amazing. I love it. I do. The long days are perfect.
Yeah, I mean, a lot
of. I can't think of anything.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish the last bit.
No, that's it. I just can't think of anything better than doing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of because we speak to so many high level guys, and we're involved. I'm not sure if you know in the staking business where we just work with a lot of full-time players trying to make it, right? So I love your route of, you got into it for the fun of it and now taking it more seriously, as opposed to some of these guys. I mean, people get involved for poker for different reasons. They get involved because it's an opportunity to make money versus, doing a part-time job stocking grocery shelves. Makes more sense for them to try and make poker work. It's economical for them. So I like that you started with the fun of it and now you're taking it a little bit more seriously, because I think some of the guys that we work with almost forget why they got involved initially. And poker is a super tough game to play when you're not in it for the fun of it and it becomes more like a job. Your longevity shrinks, I believe, because it's a painful journey. I mean, Jordan can attest to this as well.
It can be tough. I mean, it's like, but like, it's like, it's kind of like you, Adam, like where you can't really ask for sympathy, right? Everybody, like people who have other ways of making a living, it's way more rough. But like if you want to compete at a high level and do anything, I mean, you could probably, if you want to compete at a high level and play checkers, man, like it's probably gonna take a lot of work and a lot of hours. Yeah. So I definitely think that's why in the beginning I was curious, like how you keep the passion going, how you keep it, because that's most people burn out, right? Like it's just very difficult, especially if you're like not mixing it up, right? Like if it's just, I find mixing things up helps a lot. So, for people that are trying to keep their poker career going and remembering that they're having a good time, being in shape, exercising, having sports like that you do, like stuff that you do outside of it, or being able to making sure that you study poker instead of just playing it all the time. Like whatever you can do to like mix things up, that's usually like my recommendation for like not burning out. But yeah, so I'm always interested like how other people like fade burnout when they've been doing something for quite a while.
I still just have that excitement though. Like I'm very fortunate as well to have the relationship that I do with PokerStars, and then from that, I've been like, I've met the likes of Spraggy, Tonka, Finton, all these people that I've become friends with, and on these stops we're just having a great time. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. But even with the poker, I've played 25k stakes at the Bahamas. I've played like $200 tournaments, like and $20 tournaments online, and I still find both of those things. As soon as you get your chips, I forget about the stakes almost. It's just about playing poker and trying to get to the end and be at the top. Yeah.
Well, that's good, because like the last thing you want to do is remember the stakes, because remembering the stakes doesn't help you. Remembering that it's a 25k or that it's a $22 like doesn't help much. Like if you're gonna just punt the 22 because it's 22, and you're gonna play like scared money because it's 25k, that's the opposite of what you want to do. You want to be just like you're playing a game. It's like if it's playing like a free roll, it's the same thing. You're just playing a game. Like if it's chess and there's it's just. But people always like they think about the money way too much. So if you can forget the money and you can do that naturally, like that's a pretty valuable asset. I think most people struggle with that. Have you ever?
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to ask you if you've thought about streaming, but if you've got a response to the previous one, then go for it.
No, I've never thought about streaming. No,
really, never even thought about it. Like you got studios.
I watch people like Spraggy and stuff like that, and I just think they're just so good at what they do. I should just stick to what I do best. These guys play for hours upon end. They're playing multiple tables. I would like to make poker content where I'm also doing what I'm good at. Do you know what I mean? And kind of blend the two and make almost a poker show, which is also like a talk show, and you discussing the big topics and things like that. I think that would be more my angle with doing something like that if I was going to do it, and like being more dependent on the interview side of things rather than the poker side of things. Because when I watch these guys, I learn so much from them. Even if it's just I'm just ranting or talking on or whatever, I don't think I'd offer the same service.
Yeah, it'd be a different angle for sure. I just think that people would probably tune in. I think that you could. You and I have worked together privately quite a bit, and like you converse really well. So I don't know. It just seems like a natural way for you to make a little bit of content. But yeah, I was just curious about the streaming side of things.
I've done a few streams before, and also I don't play as many tables. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna So if I bust it, I always think like if I bust a tournament in 30 minutes, it's gonna be like, well, guys, right then, we're off now. I'm not gonna be just punting it off and just reloading constantly. So
Sure.
there's also that. I have streamed a few times because I've been lucky enough to run quite deep in a few tournaments. And when I get to the latter stage, I'll just jump on the stream and go from there. I like to do that when it's getting real serious. But yeah, one of my favorite experiences, if we just talk about experiences in poker, was I played played the main event at the UK IPT in Brighton, and Spraggy won the tournament, and I finished third.
Yeah, you finished third.
It was just an unreal like I basically was sat on Spraggy's table for like 2 out of the 4 days, just constantly me and him having a few beers, running all the way.
Awesome.
And someone said to me after, like, you'll never experience that again. Like, it's very rare that you'll experience that again. Like, get into a final table and doing it with one of your mates, like just going all the way. And Dominic Niche was in the top 3 with us. It was like I didn't even know who he was going into the tournament. Like, here's this guy that's like an incredible poker player. And I remember going to Spraggy at some point. I wasn't on Spraggy's table, and I went, "There's this guy to my right. I've got him." And he went, "Do you know who that is?" I said, "No, no." And he showed me his head, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, I didn't realize he was that like shit. I thought I was killing him. And yeah, so like, there's been funny moments because I'm just so naive to a lot of these players and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I wasn't doing as much coaching as then, so I wouldn't recognize some signs that you're supposed to recognize in certain positions and stuff like that. So it was funny, but that's one of my favorite experiences in
that's
poker.
a once in a lifetime. That's a once in a lifetime for sure. Like especially if you guys were battling like quite a bit on the same tables, like leading up to it, if you guys were able to play a lot prior to the final table, and then to actually final table it, and then almost like first like 1-2 it, right? Like 1-3.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to a 1-2, man. So that's
he knocked me out as well. It was devastating.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's the best. That's the
best. That's awesome. Yeah. There's no rush, man. Like chasing getting to that final table. And you get the same thing online too, because you'll play more online tournaments than you would live. But personally, I've never had the live rush experience of playing for 4 days, getting to that end. I'm sure it's amazing.
Some people that have said to me as well, like, I've been very I'd say lucky, because I've had quite a decent amount of cashes, and like some people play all their lives and don't really hit those targets or stuff till much later. So I think I've had a bit of a sun run at the start of my journey, which is crazy.
I mean, how long have you been playing poker for? How many years has it been?
Literally COVID, like when was
2020?
2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that year for the rest of my life. It's crazy when I remember. So, hey, what year was COVID? I'm like, you fucking kidding me, bro? Like 2020, dude. I know that for forever.
One after a bit though, it was like I don't know what year it is anymore. I don't know how old I am now. Like all I know is
if you tell me when did it stop, shit, I have no idea. I don't even know if it's over yet. But if you say when did that shit start, I know exactly when it started. I know exactly when it started.
It was so just around then is when we started the poker stream. That was initially the beginning of it. And I remember having like hand rankings on my phone and stuff and being like, so better than one pair. That's good. I just having all these things like just in my hand, like just
Okay, so in the first few years you had you've already final tabled, like you just got started basically, and you've already got a final table where you like have a top 3 finish, which is sick. So that's super cool. Do you know how many people were in it was a day 4 tournament, right? Like it took 4 days, so it must have been a lot of people. But do you remember how many people?
It wasn't one of the biggest ones, but I think it was maybe like 300, something like that.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. And then what was the buy-in then? Was it 1,600?
It was 1K. I cashed for 30K. So
sick.
It was decent.
Yeah, no, it's a good start. And then you just basically put the whole thing into a 25K.
Again, look. Some people look at me and go, this guy is just absolutely jammy. But I didn't pay into that. Like that was a
sure.
That was a pass. Do you know what I mean? We got I remember Finton, they just had 2 passes lying around, and Finton had posted a Twitter video saying, if you can get to the Bahamas by tomorrow, you can play in Maine. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm there.
Oh, that's sick.
It was just like, okay, I guess I'm leaving. I'm going to the Bahamas. So that was how that happened. Like I don't think I'd put 25K.
Well, you did take a trip though, so that's super sick. Very opportunistic to just be like, all right, I guess I'm getting on a plane like right now.
Yeah, I'm not missing that kind of opportunity. And I remember the way I bust that tournament. I flew in, jumped straight into day 1A. Well, sorry, 1B, I think it was. Straight in, made day 2, and then we're playing day 2 near to the end of day 2, and the pot was for like, I would have been chip lead if I win this pot.
Yeah.
And I had a set of jacks on the flop or something. We end up both going all in, and he just rivered like a straight or something, and I just remember thinking, oh, I never felt so much pain. Like, I talk about how enjoyable Brighton was with Spraggy. Like that was the most painful moment in my life.
Yeah,
like,
busting like high stakes live tournaments after you. I mean, I can't remember what it was. Like it took like 40th or 50th or something in like a 10K PCA main in the Bahamas. And like there's something about like flying all the way to the Bahamas and then like grinding the same tournament for like 2 or 3 days or however many days it was, and then you bust and you're just like, damn, that just hurt so bad, dude.
So I thought in my head, I was like, this guy is so fucked. He doesn't he wants to send these cards over because he is so fucked. And I was already just like now I'm a bit more skeptical. Like, all right, you've never won until the last card's been shown. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, I'm a bit on my guard now. But then I was just like, yeah, this guy is so fucked. And yeah, just lose in that fashion, and then you feel you don't want to leave the table, but you have to leave the table. It's like it's just an awful feeling.
It's an awful feeling. It's an awful.
And
feeling.
Your head feels like you feel like you're in a movie, you know, and the geezer's head spinning. It's all over the place.
I haven't played live that much though, and that's why I feel like is the beauty if you bust the Bahamas, because then if you bust, you're just like, all right, I'm going to the beach.
Like, but trust me, it was the saddest. So it was like the saddest, like suntan I ever got. Like, it was real bad. Like it was for at least 6 hours. I was just like, no, just no one talk to me. Just leave me alone.
No, I get the feeling.
And plus, it would have been like if I just make it to the end of day 2, I think I was basically there for like a min cash, which was like 45,000. Bearing in mind, I hadn't put anything into this tournament. It would have just been
huge min cash. Huge min cash.
Yeah, like just a huge min cash. I would have been running around the poker room, but wasn't to be.
It happens. So you obviously watched football your whole life. Do you find similarities between football and poker? Because I've spoken to a few of my buddies who grew up playing, and they always talk to me that football is in some ways a game of chess. There's like a very big strategy element to it. So do you ever find there's some similarities between the two? Because two kind of strategy games.
Think in that there's a feeling that you get when I've played football at very low levels. So when I use my experience of it, but like, scoring a last minute goal or celebrating your team scoring a last minute goal, there's that feeling as well when you get a 2 out around the river, like for your tournament life. Like you do get some of those feelings sometimes where it's just like you feel a rush. And also in poker, it's weird because when you're playing football, you can celebrate. Like it doesn't feel like you could celebrate at a poker table. It feels like it'd be a little bit frowned upon. Although sometimes I do, like, whatever, who cares? But it does feel like you can't celebrate as much at a poker table. But you do get those feelings of, it's very comparable. Your team scoring a last minute goal and you just kind of getting that card that you need. But I don't think there's many comparisons apart from that. I like the escape from football and just doing something totally different. I like that escape. But it's crazy because you see, like, I've seen some footballing legends playing poker.
Oh yeah.
Like whilst being around, like the likes of Gerard Piqué, Sergio Aguero, Neymar. Like these are some footballing legends that love the game as well. Like, so there's been that kind of thing when we've been out and about.
Yeah, that's got to be cool to meet some of those guys, because I'm sure. Have you met some of these guys when you go to
Yeah,
the
so
stops?
we interviewed PK and Aguero when we were at various. I think one was at PK was in EPT Barcelona. Aguero was at EPT Monte Carlo, and we met Neymar at an EPT Barcelona as well. So we've been able to like mingle with those guys on stops, because obviously they were there with PokerStars in some capacity, and I think Neymar's still an ambassador with PokerStars.
Yeah,
and he just loves the game as well. He's someone that sometimes you just find him in random tournaments like $55.
He seems like he just likes to play. He seems like he just likes to play.
Yeah. He loves it, man. There's that video of him playing during his kid's birthday. Everyone's singing happy birthday, and he's just in a tournament. I rate it.
yeah, that's sick. Yeah, he's a gamer. I know he. I think I've seen some stuff, not just poker, even video games. So I think he's just super competitive. Doesn't matter what it is, and that probably
there's that competitive nature as well. Like there's a lot of that in poker, especially with the people at your table and remembering what they've done. It like sometimes you play irrationally because of who you're playing against.
Yep.
And like everything Jordan tells me goes out the window because this guy, I'm sure he's a bluffer. Like, you just well, he pissed me off in the last hand with this, or he made me fold a good hand or something. So now or he never had it once, so he's never going to have it, and you just think he's a blagger. And like, always happens. Like you have those kind of duels with people at tables as well, which is always fun.
Yeah, there's more to it than just like the raw analysis. Like we could do it after the fact, but like sometimes, especially when you're playing live, right? Like you'll get a feeling of like the timing and how things are coming together and like how they've been playing. And you're just like, I think this guy's full of shit. So I know I'm not really supposed to call, but here we go. Anyways, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, why did you do this? Weird look on his face, and I just thought,
I will say this: like I've coached like a lot of people. Some of them are like pretty high profile people in their domains and stuff, but I've never had so many people on my schedule because I coach a lot of Europeans, so maybe that's what it is. Because like sometimes I coach like some of the high profile guys I coach are Americans, and maybe it's because you're European, but like the number of people that have messaged me about you, they're like, oh my god, Adam McKola is on the schedule, bro, and I'm like, yeah, sure, great, like that's awesome. Yeah. So you should know, bro, like within the poker community, you have a ton of fans because they're just like, a lot of people that I coach regularly, like, yo, is that actually Adam McKola? I'm like, yes, it's actually Adam McKola. They're like,
I still find shit like that crazy, man. I haven't got used to stuff like that. Like,
yeah, what's it like when you're home? Like when you go for a walk outside and shit? Like, is it?
I think it's cool at home because people are just used to me, and like, or maybe I've already met them, so there's
it's normal.
At home it's fine, really, unless I go to areas that I'm unfamiliar with or I don't frequent much. Okay. But like just meeting people that know who I am and stuff like that it's still crazy. I still haven't got used to that, and I still enjoy it, and I still buzz off like people coming up to me and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't think that's got old yet, and I hope it doesn't.
You just had your first child, right?
Yeah.
It's so it'll be really cool as your child grows up. Like for me, when I take my daughter out, and so we went to a restaurant once, right? And the guy shows up with like tiramisu, which is my daughter's favorite dessert. Shows up, he comes over, he's like, yo, what kind of dessert you want? I'm like, what kind of question is that? I'm like, well, I don't know, figure it out. He's like, yo, whatever dessert you want, just let me know. And I didn't know that he knew who I was. And so he's like, I'm like, tiramisu. So he comes back with tiramisu, and my daughter's like, why are we getting tiramisu, Dad? I'm like, I don't know, this guy wants to give us tiramisu. And he's like, yo, man, I'm a huge fan, like blah, 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 blah. I've seen the stream. And I'm like, yo, you just made me look dope in front of my daughter, man. That's worth so much money to me. Yeah. That's priceless. So that's super cool. Yeah. So if you end up having that happen, something like that, that feels.
Yeah, or when my mom sees something like that, I think she still gets weird.
Yeah, I bet. So. Yeah. Like when the family sees it, it's cool. It's fun for me. Like I still get like a little kick off of it, a little high off of it. But there was something about like some guy coming over with dessert for my kid.
Yeah,
that was like this was just awesome.
Like those are the best ones. I remember being at like I can't remember where I was. About to get out of train, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, love your videos. Don't worry about it." And just gave me a free meal, and it's like it's just the easiest thing to just make someone so happy. Like, yes, like free food is the best. Best that I letting people know. Yeah, like just free food is the best.
Yeah, I have a question from one of those guys. So one of the guys that works with me, he said, yeah, you need to ask me this. I was like, all right, fine, I'll ask you. He said, so would you rather play, or what would you do if you had to play the WSOP main, play the WSOP main, so you're in it, playing the WSOP main, or watch United Leeds in an FA Cup final? What would you do? What would you do? Would you just like leave the tournament? Would you just like play? Like, what would be the plan?
Oh, did we cut out?
I think we might have lost him.
I've been to a cup final between Manchester United and Leeds, so there's that kind of thing where I'd be like, I need to be at that.
you just get up and leave the table?
If it was like, if it was Manchester United, Man City, where it's already happened, it's like, I'd go to the World Series, mate. Like, I'd actually go and play in it. It's something that I want to do. It's on the bucket list, so I'd definitely do that. But if it was Man United,
you already had a 10K ticket though. You already had the 10K ticket, so you already have the ticket to the WSOP main. You can still bail on it, but you have a ticket. So you've got maybe you.
So I'm already locked in.
You're already there. Like, you've got a ticket. You can go. It's free.
If I have the main event ticket there, and it's non-transferable to next year, I'm going.
Okay, cool. I was curious. It's non-transferable. You can't sell it. It's just for you.
Now, because now I'm 10K up before I get there.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like basically like someone paying you. It's almost like someone paying you 10K not to watch the United Leeds in an FA Cup final. It's like, is it worth 10K to you?
Oh, come on. He's got the phone on the table. He's watching it on the table.
The main event, you surely they'd have a screen, right? You can watch it.
Surely they'd have something.
You're in this casino. There's going to be a screen somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, that was the question. So you go. So the person that asked me for that, you're welcome, Barry. I got you.
Yes, love for the question.
Do you?
You got it?
Oh,
Jake.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because we spoke a little bit about content creation in the poker space. Do you have plans to do more stuff in the future? At the moment, I know you're super busy right now, but I will say I personally enjoy when any influencer comes in, and the way that you guys have done it in the past with the rundown, that just home game setting, because I think that's where poker kind of stems for everybody. Like, most people would say they started off playing home games.
I did.
Yeah. So, and I think the camaraderie you have with all your mates and you guys playing and the banter that goes back and forth, I mean, that stuff, in my opinion, is gold.
I think when we did a new set for the club recently, and when we did the table with a poker table in mind. Like, it's big enough to just put a poker table on top of it. So we hope to be able to do that again, and obviously make a good show. Maybe do some interviews around it, because like we spoke about before, so many footballers love poker as well. So it'd be great to get people on for interviews and things like that, whilst being able to interview them, play poker in an environment, and the reactions you get from it as well would be pretty good. So yeah, that's something that I want to do. Also, we did like vlogs. They were pretty cool. Like, when we went to the main event in the EPTs and things like that, we have made videos around those things as well. So I'd like to do more of that, and hopefully in our capacity with PokerStars be able to do it. So yeah, be looking to do loads more.
Yeah, I saw a few of those vlogs actually. They're nice. I like I always like any vlog type content, and it's just nice to see. It's refreshing to see, the side part of it where you're with your mates, you go out for drinks after, you incorporate all that type of stuff as well into those videos. Aside from most of the poker vloggers, it's just, I'm going to the casino, here are the hands I played.
I'm up this much, and plus, like, there's so much. These events have so much on outside of the poker. Like, it's worth.
Exactly.
Like, there's so much things that can happen. Like, you've got every night you're out for drinks with different people. You've got the players' parties. You've got various different things like that. All the like sporting events that they stick on. So there's always something to kind of get your teeth into, and there's always situations where funny things can happen and stuff. So they, like, when you're with the lads and you're in Monte Carlo or you're in Malaga or something, it's just a perfect spot to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. I kind of want to piggy off of Jordan's question earlier, because I've always asked people this because I feel somewhat differently. Would you rather win a WSOP bracelet or an EPT trophy?
Oh. You know, I think winning the EPT Barcelona main event would be a dream. Like if the bracelets for the World Series of Poker main event,
Any bracelet.
you could edge towards that. But for me, like I've been Vegas, but I haven't been Vegas to play poker, right? And so there's a reason behind my decision. When I went to Vegas, I went to the Spence Crawford fight, which was amazing. But outside of that, I didn't love Vegas that much. Like, it didn't appeal to me as much as it maybe should have. And maybe that's because I didn't play poker. Because the people that I was with wouldn't play it, I didn't really want to go away and spend like
sure
6, 7, 8 hours playing poker whilst everyone else was, having fun and stuff. So I decided to just not play. So maybe that's a little bit in my decision. But the EPT Barcelona main event is my favorite event. Like that and everything around it, the city, the food, just everything about. But the EPT Barcelona main event is my favorite. So I'll probably edge towards that because of my experience of Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I tell the guys that I work with too, because they've asked me this. I just always say, well, for one, I think the EPT trophies just look way cooler than a little bracelet that I.
The PSPC trophy is great as well.
What's that?
The PSPC trophy is great as well.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, that's a beautiful one.
Exactly. Maybe I should have.
Although you say the trophy's better than the bracelets are iconic. Though,
that's the thing, right? Yeah.
Holding one would be special, I guess.
For sure. And I feel similarly to you. Like I haven't played a lot of live, but I know that if I was getting on a plane to go play either a WSOP event or an EPT, I'm picking the EPT because I'd rather go to exactly Barcelona or instead of Vegas, because there's not much to do outside of Vegas other than go to a club or watch a show. And
also it's just casinos.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. I went there when the Spence Crawford fight was on. We went to watch Manchester United were playing there. Then it was pre-season. We went to a comedy show. Like we went out to a few places. So we filled the few days. But I imagine like if I was just on holiday there, chilling and going to the pool and back and all that, I don't think I'd enjoy it. But then I'm not a gambling person really, which is like I'll maybe play a little bit of blackjack, but I'm not really gonna. I don't consider poker to be gambling in the same way that I do with that, because there's a little bit of thinking. With a tournament where you get your chips, you could be there for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You could be there for 3, 4 days. It doesn't. I'd rather do that than go and play on the slots and things, I guess.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't gamble like that. I can't make bets where I'm doing it on purpose and I feel like I'm just like always losing. For me personally, like there's something about it that just feels like I'm a professional poker player. It just feels wrong to like work my whole life for this edge and then just give it away to the house for no reason. So I can't do those other games. For me, they just don't work. So I like being somewhere like Prague or Barcelona or the Bahamas or something like, and then you play, like you're out. It's like the whole experience is amazing, and the allure of the trip as like it's just as much like the playing the poker as it is all the other stuff. Whereas if I was in Vegas, it would be like I'd be playing the poker, and then when you're done, it's like going to sleep or something because like you don't want to do. Yeah, I don't know. I would just be
there's so many times you can do Vegas nights, like it's
sure.
It's not going to be something you can maintain every night. So I would like to play World Series, but also one of the things that I have a fear of some of these queues that I see occasionally, and it's like,
I've played. Yeah, like the queues. I mean, it's not hours. But it probably depends on what time you go. But like when I queued up at WSOP main, it probably took me like 20 minutes, maybe.
Okay, that's not bad.
Oh, that's not that bad. I mean,
maybe I was lucky. Maybe I was lucky.
Real fearful videos where you're like, oh my days, there.
Or maybe they just move quickly because there's like 6 or 7 tellers maybe that were in the line, and like they move through them pretty quickly. So Yeah, I mean, maybe like sometimes some guys have to wait 2 or 3 hours, but I've done the WSL main like maybe twice or something like that, 2 or 3 times, and I've never had to wait more than like
Maybe it's just the one video I saw.
25 minutes, 30 minutes for a line.
Well, yeah, I had to wait. I've played live twice this year, and both times I went, we had the WSOP here in Toronto for the first time ever. I had to wait 3 hours to play.
In the line?
In the line.
Oh my gosh, bro, you're doing something wrong.
No. So I think it's just poorly.
Are you waiting for that? I don't know if I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of. I drove. Me and my buddy went. We drove there, or it takes like 35 minutes or whatever, and yeah, you just sat down. You're waiting because what they did was they had this pre-register thing where it's like you can come a few weeks early and sign up so you can reserve your seat, and it's sold out within 2 days. Every event. They ran about 15 events, I'd say. Everything sold out within a week. And then they extended it to where you could register on the day of the event, but you had to wait. And I had to wait. Yeah, I had to wait 2.5 to 3 hours, sat down with 30 bigs, got 3 out and then walked away, and I was like, all right.
You guys have commitment though, man. If my house was 30 minutes away, and I was like, right, it's a 3-hour wait. It's not a 3-hour wait. It's a 30-minute drive, baby. I'm going home.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We just sat there talking.
You'd commit 30 minutes to it, right? Because you'd wait and think, surely it won't be that bad. And then once you've committed that first, you're like constantly going, surely I'll be there. In 20. The next thing you know, it's been 3 hours and you're still there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna like I probably would never do it on my own. I think just because me and my buddy were waiting there, we were just shooting the shit for like a couple hours, passing time.
You could they didn't have like a max late reg option though, like where you could just come in, like you just come back after. If you see it's like a 3-hour line, right? You just go get coffee, go for a walk, go for lunch, and then come back.
That's probably what I should have done instead of sitting down with 30 bigs. I was like, I might as well just sit down with 10. But I think even max late reg, I think you were getting in with like 5. So it would have been
pretty punty.
It would be pretty punty, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's my biggest concern with going to Vegas, because I have seen they had that last year. I feel like a huge ass line going out the door.
I have buddies. I have a lot of people and connections in Vegas. So I can't remember if like I've always been walked in by a friend. So like maybe
VIP
my friends
service.
like know which lines to skip and like which ones to go, because they live at those casinos. Like they live in Vegas and they're there all the time. And so they're like, yo, let's go. Like they'll message me like, yo, let's go get tickets. And I'm like, okay. And so like then I just go with them, and I'm like, when they know when to go, and I always wait like 20 minutes or something. So yeah, maybe you see better friends, Jake.
I don't get the VIP service when I go down to. Yeah, maybe I will when I go to Vegas. Who knows? All right. I think we could call it there, though. I know we're pressed for time here, so I appreciate you coming on, Adam. This is good conversation.
It's been a pleasure, man. I'd love to jump on again at some point in the future. Hopefully, I'll lift a trophy or something. UKIPT London coming up, so you never know.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
And celebrate England winning the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, international football is not for me personally. But I don't really.
I've heard that. Yeah,
my heart's not really in that as much as it is Manchester United. Like,
sure,
probably because I'm half Irish and Ireland are useless as well. But yeah, so I'm not really committed like that. But I suppose when the country get to a final, which we've seen 2 in our lifetime, they've never won a trophy in our lifetime. Haven't won one since 60 years. Like, it would be nice to see it, I guess. It's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. So I suppose I hope it happens now. We're here and this far. But yeah, I wouldn't be celebrating it like I was Manchester United win the FA Cup.
For sure.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, man.
But yeah,
appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. See you soon.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Adam. Really appreciate you, brother. Thanks, man.
Nice one. Catch you later, boys.
Yeah, cheers, man. Bye.